Narcissistic mothers don't always look harmful. They often have two sides. The side that shows up, provides, even says, "I love you," and the side that isn't emotionally there when it matters. You can experience both and still carry a wound from that relationship. Not because nothing was given, but because something essential wasn't consistent. And that creates a kind of confusion you can't easily explain. Because your story doesn't sound bad enough, but it never felt fully safe either. You can't say, "It was bad." You can't say, "I was neglected." So instead, you say nothing. But your patterns speak for you. Reframing the mother wound. The mother wound is often misunderstood. People think it requires extremes, abuse, rejection, or clear emotional harm. But one of the most impactful forms of wounding, sometimes, it is subtle, it is quiet. It happens in homes that look completely functional from the outside, where your mother was there, providing or doing her best, and still, you didn't feel fully met, not consistently, not in the moments that shaped you. And that is the distinction matters the most. Because this isn't about blame. It's about understanding what was missing, so you can understand what adapted and move forward. What emotional absence looks like. Sometimes it looks like presence without connection. It can look like a mother who was physically there, but mentally somewhere else. A mother who cared, but didn't know how to respond to emotions. A mother who solved problems, but didn't sit with feelings. A mother who encouraged strength, but unintentionally dismissed vulnerability. Or a mother who was overwhelmed and needed things to stay calm, predictable, manageable. So emotions became inconvenient, not unsafe, not forbidden, but not fully welcomed either. And when you were once a child, you may have felt that difference immediately. Not logically, but internally. The childhood interpretation. When a child reaches for connection, and it isn't met in the way they need, they don't question the parent. They question themselves. They don't think, "My parent is overwhelmed." They think, "I'm too much. My feelings are too big. I need to adjust." And this is where the shift happens. Not in behavior first, in identity. Because the child begins to reorganize who they are, to maintain connection. The rise of adaptive identities. As a child or young adult whilst growing up, they start reading the room, monitoring tone, tracking moods, and anticipating reactions. They learn how to not need too much, how to not feel too loudly, how to not disrupt the environment, and it gets reinforced. Because it creates stability, it keeps connection intact. But there's a cost, because over time, they lose access to parts of themselves. Not permanently, but habitually. The invisible loss. This is why this wound is hard to name. Because nothing obvious was taken, but something essential wasn't built. The ability to fully express, fully receive, fully trust emotional safety. So instead, you had to develop awareness. High awareness. You can read people instantly. You can adjust quickly. You can manage dynamics without thinking. But when it comes to your own needs, there's hesitation, uncertainty, sometimes even disconnection. The adult patterns created. This is the part most people overlook or never fully understand. This is where Unseen Daughter Diaries separates itself. You see, these childhood patterns of identity do not stay in childhood. It shows up later, in subtle ways. You might downplay your needs, struggle to ask for support, feel uncomfortable being fully seen, overfunction in relationships, or feel responsible for emotional balance, not because something is wrong with you, but because something worked for a long time and your system kept it. This isn't about blame, and it's not about labeling your past as bad. It's about understanding something more precise. You adapted to maintain connection, intelligently, effectively, and now you're allowed to notice it, without judgment of yourself. Because awareness doesn't take anything away. It gives you something you were never allowed to have in the first place: the power to choose yourself. If this resonated with you, subscribe and follow the Mother Wound series, so you can finally connect patterns you felt but never fully understood.